For us at the United Center. Joe, so much energy in the room. I mean, they made the roll call fun.
Yeah, they did. I don't know how many people expected Lil Jon to show up, but they did make the roll call fun. That was certainly a moment there. There was a lot of energy last night for night number 2. They tried to build on night number 1. And obviously, when you've got the Obamas headlining, there's a level of star power there. The reception they got was exactly what you'd expect from a stadium full of Democrats. And I think they, again, made clear why many Democrats consider both Michelle and President Barack Obama to be maybe their best messengers for the party. If you're counting decibels, I think she might have actually gotten a louder reception than he did. Their goal last night was to try to humanize Kamala Harris in a way. They explored her biography, her personal story, and they tried to do it in a way that connected her to regular voters across the country. That was at least the goal anyway. Now, some of the more memorable lines they delivered were actually when they were on the offensive against former President Trump. And I think they did that in a way that we hadn't really seen, at least not to the extent that both of them did last night, delivering some punches, landing some punches, I think, in some of those attack lines. But again, the focus was on the way they tried to build up Vice President Harris. This is just a sample of that from both of them.
Kamala Harris is more than ready for this moment. She is one of the most qualified people ever to seek the office of the presidency. And she is one of the most dignified.
If we work like we've never worked before, if we hold firm to our convictions, we will elect Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States.
Also, a major part of that speech, Marnie, was just a call to action. We heard Michelle Obama say, you know, that people need to get involved, that this is an invitation from her, she says. She is telling people to take action and get out and do what they can do. And even at one point, President Obama, I didn't think it was part of his prepared remarks, but he heard boos in the crowd when he referenced something about Donald Trump. And he sort of stopped and said, don't boo, vote. And then you had a vote chant from the crowd. So it was a celebration of Kamala Harris, and also you got to do your part as voters in the Democratic Party as well.
Yeah, off-scripted, kind of in the moment remarks. Joe, what was your sense of how the crowd reacted to Republicans against Trump who spoke last night?
Yeah, that was an interesting part of the program. And actually, the DNC is scattering Republicans throughout the week, every night. And I think they think this is a really effective tool, messaging, to try to attract maybe some of those more moderate, independent voters, maybe even Republican-leaning voters who feel disenchanted with former President Trump. I felt that the crowd took to that pretty well. This is Stephanie Grisham last night, President Trump's former press secretary, who is now supporting Kamala Harris. Take a listen.
And that's because I love my country more than my party. Kamala Harris tells the truth. She respects the American people, and she has my vote.
Yeah, Diane, I think that's exactly right.
And again, Marnie, beyond the headliners tonight, you're going to hear more Republicans take the stage as well as part of the programming for night number 3 here in Chicago.
Yeah, another big night for Democrats in the spotlight as we get closer to Kamala Harris's speech tomorrow. Joe,